everyone, welcome back. Sorry that there wasn't anything last week. I was a bit tired and turned things down a bit. Yeah, I was a bit sort of wiped out, so I just didn't feel like it last week. But we're back, and first thing to do, I think, would be to have a look at where we left off. I seem to remember that we had some components running, so it would generate the 3D view, and we can fire firebolts, and they explode into this array of different coloured blocks. And what I'd like to do is make a more explosion-y type thing and have them fade out rather than just fall through the floor. So I think that's probably the best thing for today. Still haven't completely decided what to do with the ceiling yet, so we'll just leave that as a big green thing for now. Yeah, not sure about how to map the texture, or I think we're going to have to write a custom shader for that as well, so that's going to be a bit more thought from my side. So let's go have a look at where the so I seem to remember the firebolt destroys itself. Yes, the firebolt has hit something and is now exploding. If we check the logs, we fired a few of them. Yeah, so we've had that message a few times. So this is where it creates the shards. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is not great. Because it's just creating that diagonal line going up from left to right, we're seeing. Really, we want it to create a random number of shards, I think between 5 and 8, and have them fly off in different directions. So the shard itself, what is the shard? It is just a model. Okay, so the shards are actually... Right, yeah. So the shards are actually... Oh, they're set at the beginning. Gosh, this was... Yeah, I don't know whether the firebolt should handle its own shards. The other question I have is just does the firebolt disappear? It does disappear when the shards are... So is it that it changes state? Yes, so it goes into an exploding state. Okay, great. So those are, yeah, they're loaded at the setup time. So I think now is, so during the setup phase, or during the first part actually, is going to be the where we create the shards, and this is where, oh yeah, we just hard coded each of them. Excuse me. Cold's still with me. Okay, so this needs to be a random number generator. I'm actually just going to consult my other project quickly, because I used a random number generator in this, and it was actually quite good. So yeah, fast rounds, that's it. So first thing to do is to cargo add fast rounds, get it into the project. Why this is really good is that it is WASM compatible out of the box, which is good, and it doesn't. You don't have to mess around with the thread ranges and stuff of the other things. So that's all good, and you just So. Let's shards equals fast rounds new size, and it will be between 5 and 8, we decided, and 4, great, sort of predicted what we wanted to do. initial positions actually don't matter that much. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's actually predicted exactly what I wanted to do, which is that it's given the shard the number, and it's one indexing them. So the first one is 1, going through to 6 if we're creating 5. Cool. So that's actually pretty good. So we can now get rid of all of that code. Love deleting code. That's the best thing. There we go. So we now, every firebolt gets a random number of shards, and when we explode, self-destroy, I'm going to imagine when it destroys itself. Yes, that's when we get the each of the shards, and we give them a position. Yeah, sorry, I was just checking on the stream, make sure it's streaming okay. I think it is. It looks like everything's up and running, which is great. So we want to loop through each of the shards for shards self.shards.mutes. Okay, well it's given us some code, the prediction model. Okay, right. So it's sort of predicted about where I want it to go with it, which is that we also have to give each shard a velocity. But for now, just copying the old code. We'll comment that out because I think that will be useful. For challenges, we just want to set the position. So we'll let pos x equals self-location. So let's. Okay, random position offset between -1 and 1. Yeah, we'll see. That's actually probably not too bad. And then let pos y, because we want the up and down. Yeah, and then the z is just the z, yes. So that's going to be, yeah, okay, so we're getting a little bit of variance in where they're starting for each of the things, and the location z is just going to be z. Just keep it like that for. There we go. So, okay, so I think that should work. That should now give us a bit more randomness, although they will all appear quite clumped together because we've only got a variance of 0.1 either side of the starting point. So we will run our thing. And we'll refresh our page and see what happens. Okay, nice. Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to start with. I mean, they're still dropping at a linear rate, which is not great, but yeah, that's sort of doing what I hoped it would do. And now we need to set the velocities for them. And I think at this point it's probably going to be where we move the shards from being just models to being shards. Create a new struct shard. Okay, that's actually predicted pretty nicely. Shard. Okay, and we need to of course include the module. So make sure it's actually initialized. Public shards. I'm actually going to call that shard because each one is going to be a shard, not a shards. Okay, that's fine. This isn't working because we need to just import the utils. Create utils location 3D. Is utils a module? It should just be utils location. Yeah, that's. Oops. Sorry, getting confused between languages now. And model, which I can't remember where we stored it, so I'll just grab it from here. Oh, actually, looks like we've got everything we need just here, so I'll just copy and paste that over the top. Cool, we now have our models. Awesome, so we now want pub function updates. Yeah, that's pretty good. And function render. I'm just going to call that GL. And we'll go to the firebolt and copy the WebSys location at the top there. And the camera. So we can just call that camera. I'm still getting build failure. Why is that happening? The delimiter isn't closed properly. Yep, wrong there. Missing bracket. So, cool. Okay, that's compiled. Okay, the rotation we don't need, but the velocity we do. So we'll change all of those to velocity. And we will get rid of the position of velocity because when we initialize them, they actually won't be. They won't be anywhere. Not. Oh, yeah. Sorry, they're locations. Cool, and that's pretty pretty. So we just want 0, 0, 0. Expected identifier. Oh, yeah. I see. Yeah, it needs to be the named, so it's model. That's fine. Okay, and then this will be shards. And all of that needs to go into the init. Model equals this, like that. Call it model. We need to give it a name. Okay. Oh, yeah, it actually had the right. Yep. So it's figured out what we wanted to do. That needs to be mutable. Actually, we don't need to pass the model because we're creating it. And that just needs to be a string. So the name's going to show up in name. Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, it doesn't know about shards, so we want to use super shard. There we go, because it's in the same submodule. So great. Okay, get rid of all those. So I think we need a setup function in each of those. Setup probably should come before update. From setup. Has that correctly predicted? Yes, it has. Shard.setup gl with height. Yeah. Nice. Okay, so that should set up, and then within, if we are exploding, okay, this is the, yeah, that's the falling, and actually we don't want to do that, we just want to if state is exploding, then we just want to update them because each one is going to update itself. And we're going to, did we create a const file? We didn't, but I'm going to do it now. So creating a consts at the top level so that we've got somewhere to store our constants. And the first one I'm going to do is create gravity. We'll set it to be 9.81, which is like actual Earth gravity for now. Consts. But we will adjust that depending on how fast it falls. I suspect that's going to be quite fast for how we're using it, or we're going to use it. Yeah, particularly because, so let's see, self.velocity in the y direction minus equals gravity times delta time. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Let's put a little fiddle factor on the bottom. Let's cover that, but I think, yeah, and self-position Z to velocity. Okay, so what this is doing is that for each update, the shard will reposition itself, but first of all, it will change the velocity of the Y to incorporate gravity, so it'll fall faster. Then, yeah, then we've got a render. Pretty close to go to the render of this. Excellent. 4 sharded shards. Just call shard.render, I think. Yeah, okay. So why does the render metal? Oh yeah, we have to import the all of the consts. Normally importing oh yeah, I didn't make it public. Okay. So normally importing star from a module is not a fantastic idea because you don't know what's coming in, but for constants I think it's a good idea because it means that you won't get clashes in the compile. If you've got two constants named the same thing declared in different files, kind of helps identify when that's an issue. Right. Nice, okay, so we still have an issue, the set position, okay, yeah. So the shard needs a set position and set velocity. Okay, so we can set the velocity and the position. So the position was fine. And then we want to create the velocities. So vel x equals, yeah, that's probably not too bad. That one, I think, the velocity y, I think we definitely want to be going up. So I don't want to subtract. Vel z. Set velocity. Okay, cool. So we're now setting the velocities. So time to have a look and see what happens. Okay, well, something's not happening. They are still obeying the time to live, which is great. They're just disappearing. But they're not updating based on the velocities. Are we actually updating? We're not calling shard updates if it's exploding. Okay, so let's find out what's going on here. Okay, so I'm just adding a bit of debug so we can just see what it thinks the velocity is doing. We can see A, if the update function is being called, and B, if they're actually updating. So this, and we'll load Ah, yes, I know exactly what's happening. It's okay for a start. Yep, they've gone nuts a bit. I think we're going to see them move quite fast, and of course, we also need to set the position of the model at the end. That's what wasn't happening. Okay, yeah. So as I thought, they're just disappearing very quickly. It's they're moving way too fast. So let's try adding the 001 back in. See what happens there. Okay, they're scattering very, very fast. So that's obviously an issue. And I'm gonna say self.velocity. So yeah, I'm gonna create a constant now. Constant. We're gonna call this fireball shard drag, and that's going to be 0.001. It means that actually 0.01 and we'll multiply it by the thing. So going to basically mean that it stops shooting out so fast. There we go. Yeah, the comment here explains it better. That it's applying damping. Oh no, sorry, not multiplies equals, minus equals, and then, oh no, maybe it is, yeah, maybe we do want to, yeah, maybe we do want to multiply equals, and then it should, the movement left and right should, okay, well, it's still moving way too fast, and I strongly suspect the gravity is going to be to blame here, so I'm going to reduce that to 0.1. Okay, well, it's sort of working, but those are obviously quite high values, and they're just shooting off and then coming down again. So yeah, so the initial values that we're setting are way too high. So really, we need to, when we're setting the initial velocities, create something smaller. Oops. 0.02 minus 0.01. Okay, so that's giving them a tenth of the. Oh, that's the wrong place. That's the positions. So undo all of those, and it was here. Yeah, so we're just going to make them a tenth as reactive as they were. Okay, little bit nicer. Still, still far too, yeah, still far too jumpy. And actually, the X spread is pretty good. That's kind of largely correct. Could in fact maybe go a little bit further. So for the X, I'll make that 4.02. And then it's the Y one that's really causing the big issue. So, okay, now that's not going up enough. So make that, what was it? It was 0.02 there. So 0.08, 0.04. It's still not quite going up enough, and still the gravity is actually going to const gravity, because I don't really want them to obey gravity as much. I want them to be sort of floaty, a bit like a sort of firebolt shard would be, and then change that to, so we'll give that its own gravity, Let's just see what that looks like. Oops. Okay, that's a bit better. Yes, that's nicer. But actually, you know what? I think for the Y shots, I actually don't want to accelerate them down at all. So yeah, so let's just. Okay, and then make the maximum one slightly less to. Oops. Now we've got a slight. Yeah, I think that looks a bit nice. That's more the sort of effect I was hoping to get. Maybe maybe with a bit more spread in the X direction. Let's make that 8 and 4, and then reduce the damping of that. Let's see if we can get a bit more spread. Still not really spreading. Okay, yeah, it's almost like it's locking down straight away. So actually, let's try removing the drag in the X direction. He's still just shooting off. Okay, but okay, yeah. So it does need some drag. It just needs. Let's try. Back to just almost maximum drag. It just seems to stop them from moving out at all. Oh, yeah, I know why. It's because we're multiplying by something very, yeah, so actually, I think we just want to reduce the delta time on there completely. Okay, and then increase the X spread on here. Let's go for 0.8. Yep, and that needs to be, yeah, okay, I see what's happening here. I got the system wrong in my head. So we want this to be as close to 1 as possible because we're multiplying it by that number, but it's getting incrementally smaller on every update. Okay, yeah, so they're still shooting off to the side. Excuse me. Let's try making that 9.5, so it reduces faster. Okay, and then still trying to get 8.5, see what happens. So yeah, I think for sure we want to reduce the velocity in the X direction. Okay, that's right. We're kind of getting the effect I was hoping to look for, which is this shooting off and until they're kind of very, very fast initial burst, and then stopping and going down. So it looks pretty cool, but still the spread. Excuse me, I've got something stuck in my throat. Yeah. So. Yeah, get the initial spread. Needs to be reduced. Let's try doing that to 4.2. Still a little bit far. Excellent. That's what I was looking for. And now, of course, we also need to pick random colors. So I can't remember. I'm going to have to check the firebolt. Were we giving random colors to each one? I don't remember where we gave the colors because it's been a couple of weeks since I looked at this code. Yeah, I don't. Ah, they would. Okay, we compiled different shader colors. Okay, well that's not a great way of doing that. So, what we're going to do is alter the shader for the shards, which is okay. They don't have their own custom shaders. I think we're just using. Using no texture. Okay, so we'll call this no texture color. The vertex shader can stay the same, and then here we will pass attributes in to give it a different color. Model. I can't remember if I actually implemented this or not for this version of the model, where we can give it, yes, we can give it a variant, excellent, which is, I can't remember where it's, and essentially we can pass the shader val in. Okay, they're uniforms. That's disappointing, but we'll just have to update each uniform. It should be an attribute really, because they're individual to each thing. But yeah, maybe we stick with uniforms for now. Okay, so the then pub color. It's gonna be F32, F32, F32. Because it'll be, so we'll pass them as between 0 and 1 because that's what the shader will use. Okay, default color is white. Actually, might as well pick the color now. Red is going to be between 0.5 and 1. Green 0.5, 1, and blue will be 0. Blue. Okay, so that should give us a range of reds and oranges and yellows within those colors. Yeah, that should be. Model.set var. Can't remember what it was called. Set shader val. There we go. Var name. Set shader val. U color. Self color. Okay. And no method named set shader val. It's right there, I can see it. Oh, yeah, that's why. There needs to be a string. Oh, expected an array. Okay, it's set up slightly differently. So rather than a tuple, it's using an array. work. Okay, nice. And I think the model loads those in before every render anyway. So that should, yeah, that should work. Let's give it a go. Well, they're all the same color still. That's disappointing. Loading these in at the wrong time. Oh no, we never updated the shader. So yeah, it needs to be a uniform as well. So U color. No, we just need that U color. Okay. So still not working that well. We never assigned it. That's why. Okay, this is where it might all fall apart and might not be able to compile the shader. Nope. Not only that, it is kind of working. I think it definitely needs more red. And 0.2. Yeah, I think, yeah, so we'll skew the red, so it's always going to be a bit more red. Still getting some very green ones. So I think yeah, we want to reduce the amount of green that you can actually have. That's a bit better. Although when the red is low, maybe red should always be 1. Yeah, okay, red needs to always be 1, and the green, if we're going to get yellows, we need to be able to allow it to, yeah, I think that's, okay, that's working as I hoped it would. Now I think getting a much nicer spread of the explosion. Okay, with the fire, awesome. Looks quite fun. You have lots of them going at the same time. So yeah, I think that's probably a good place to save all of this. So that's now. It's a good snapshot for sure. So we're not using gravity, so I'll get rid of that. And I've not been fixing the warnings as I go. Oh. Okay, and the render for the player is never used. Okay. Oh yeah, because we're not drawing the wand yet. That's fair. Okay, so get rid of that. The firebolt get location is never used. Just going to prepend that. Let's try and the set base scale on the model. Yeah, I think that was a thing I added in, not during the stream, but during something else when I was writing that. GL doesn't need to be mutable. I think that's wrong. Because I'm pretty sure this doesn't work if I don't make that mutable. Let's have a look. Okay, well, I stand corrected, so it didn't need to be mutable. Okay, let's see how many warnings we've got left. 3 warnings. Okay, yeah, that definitely shouldn't be there. It's been added in by the IDE. Don't need JS value. Okay. Don't know how this figures that's an unreachable expression. Does that make it? Okay, that then becomes reachable. It's an unreachable pattern because the message of home message. Yeah, I guess we can just comment that out. And yeah. Excuse me. Okay, so that should get rid of. Yes, we've got rid of all the compiler warnings. Okay, cool. So we'll pause in the consts. Get these commented out sections as well that we don't need. Just tidying up the code a bit. It's looking a bit neater already. You can kind of see from the lack of comments on the right hand side. Mod shard. Just check for anything standing out. We've got rid of that console log. These auto-generated comments probably need to go. Yeah, I think the velocity in the Z direction doesn't matter so much, so it's okay if it's like fully dampened. Let's try and get the code a bit neater. Get rid of that comment. These comments are stale now. Get rid of those. It's pretty obvious from the code what they are actually doing. Don't really need the comments. That shouldn't be there. Checking on this. I'll leave the match message there because at some point I think we will need to handle messages coming in. Particularly because my hope with it is to also add behind the front menu, which is the home control, to add like a 3D background or something going on behind. I think it'll look nice. At the moment it looks like just a really boring early 90s web page, but we'll we'll get there. So add shards to firebolts and obey some sort of gravity. Cool. So we now have our like random explosions. I think now what I can't remember is when we decided to call the destroy method on the firebolt. I think we set it, in order to help with debugging, we set it to be not the end of the room. Yes, so I think that was 10. I think it was 10 long. Let's have a look. Let's see. Okay, well, that was definitely wrong because it's exploding immediately, so I think it's actually supposed to be 10 the other direction. That looks right. Yep, it's waiting until it gets to the other end of the hall. What is it? It's not very visible when it... I think we should maybe make that 9. Just to make it a bit more visible. Obviously, normally it will be exploding when it hits objects rather than the hard-coded wall at the end. Fire those off. Okay, yeah, that kind of, that's quite cool. There we go, cool. And of course, like we'll want it when it's, because at the moment it's just firing straight down the hall based on the position. We want it to obey where the player's looking. And that's going to require a ray tracer, so it's going to be a bit harder to figure out the direction. But yeah, I think to be honest, that might be how long have we been going for? About 45 minutes. It's actually quite a short stream this time. Kind of got where we wanted to with it. I guess could try and tackle the ceiling, because that looks a bit garish at the moment. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll do that. Let's go off hallway back for exploding firebolts. Yeah, and then we go back to the skybox here, and it's the green, this green area that we need to develop here. And because I wanted a kind of scar running through the ceiling where you could see like space behind. And I don't know whether the best thing would be to generate that, because the problem is if we start to draw on the thing, then we can't reuse the texture generator that we have. Yeah, okay. Let's just try and write it in. Let's try and write something in Python, and we'll see where it gets to. So it was square. Okay, well, it must be this one. It's square 2. So this is the ceiling. And in here we will do if x is less than so also going to calculate the width, panel width, and panel heights. So if x is less than then the start x plus panel width times, yeah, there we go. It's figured out what I wanted to do, which is pretty smart. So I wanted to cover the first quarter and the last quarter. Don't want that bit. Actually gonna make it. In fact, I'm wondering actually if we make it transparent. So rather than being, yeah, let's do an RGBA. Yeah, and then we've got the colors. Yeah, okay. It's just telling me all the places I need to make it a full transparency now. This is actually one of the nice things about the sort of code assistant in VS Code is that it'll go through and look up those things for me, so I don't have to waste brain space on it. Light sandstone. So we're going to make that the light sandstone, and we're going to open a new thing. Where's our VM? So go to cd apps, and we're going to source our VM scripts. Activate. There, and do skybox generator. Okay, yeah, it's so it's chosen the light sandstone color, and then we just want to make that 0 in there. Hopefully that will be invisible. Okay, so so that, I mean, I think that looks a lot better than the bright green that we had before. So that's a good start. But I don't think it's making the black spot invisible, like see-through, as part of the skybox. So the next thing is going to be to generate a starry night texture. So starry sky. And I'm just going to steal the first part of the code from here. Oops. Don't care about that, don't care about that. Size. Okay, yeah, so we're creating a 4096 by 4096 sky. Then really we just want to create random stars. So guess we don't need door width and door height. Number stars. Let's try 100 to start with. I in range number of stars. Okay, this should be putting should just be putting random white dots on, so this should at least give us a chance to. Okay, well, it did not do that. In fact, it looks like this is actually an invisible texture. Oh no, it did. Okay, right, so they're just there, they're just very, very small. Okay, yeah, that's, but it is invisible underneath. Okay, so we do need to set the default, we need to like block. Did we do that before? I don't remember if we set that. And I actually can't remember if there's a way of blocking the color. I think we were just relying on the fact that it there we go. That should do it. But we want it on this one. This should then generate the I'm actually going to drop this down to 1024 just to start with, because I think that'll make it easier to see the stars when they generate. It's not made it much easier. Okay, so I think that's not doing. To import random. Image size -1, yep, and the Y is there. And then we want the size to be random in between, let's say, 3 and 5. No, it's added in a brightness from somewhere. Yep, don't want that. make it a constant, it's a bit easier to understand. Let's comment that, so x and dx. Yeah, that should do it. So we should get some different size stars this time. Okay, still not. I wonder if it's working out. Oh, I was zoomed in. Hey, that's not bad. Okay, yeah, so that was a mistake, and I was very far zoomed in. That's why I couldn't see it. Okay, that's much better. That's exactly the sort of thing I was hoping for. It has made the stars circular. That's not terrible. I don't mind it. I think that looks okay, given it's going to be quite far away anyway. So I think we're good. So yeah, I mean that gives us something to be working with anyway. So let's move Starry Sky into the list of textures. And did we create? Oh, we created a skybox. Okay, so then we're going to create. Put a night sky in there. Copy all of these pieces. I actually first need to do this. I can't remember which models we had. Okay, we don't have those, so I'm going to. We don't have the flat panel one. So I have in GLTF exporter. Plane. I can't remember if this one was fixed in terms of actually mapping the UV fragments, but we'll give it a go, see what happens. It might not matter actually for a night sky. So, night sky box, let's do plane. It's just called plane, right? That needs to be no texture. So it's just gonna. No, sorry, not no texture. Cube texture. And then we want to apply the texture. It's going to be. We've got a starry sky. PNG. Needs to be useful. And then we want to set the night sky, set scale 2020, position 0, 10, 0. Yeah, that should, we don't need to rotate it. What are you doing? Yeah, that should work. And then we'll do if self.nightsky loads. Yes, it's predicted everything correctly. And if self.nightsky render, then render. Great. Okay, well, good news is it sort of worked. It's put the, turns out I did need to rotate it. Let's go set rotation. Yes, we need to rotate on the x-axis. So let's see. It's there. Okay, so let's go to position 10. Yeah, that should. I think it's 4 high. So I think, yeah, I think that's correct. And then we need to update our shader for the cube to apply to grab the alpha. I think we'll just pass that there like that. What does that? Oh yeah, I don't even need that. Just do texture color. So that should apply the transparency now from the thing, or it's going to not compile, which I suspect is also happening. No, okay, it's compiling, but still not see-through, so we can't see the sky above. So I'm wondering if Skybox is not truly transparent, and it does look transparent. So I guess we're going to be debugging shaders. So cube texture. So if texture color alpha is less than 1, then we will set the GL frag color to red. Else okay, well, it's definitely working. Ah, I know what it is. It's not doing transparencies. That's why. And I can't remember exactly how to do that. So I'm gonna have to crib off my other project again. See if I can. Does this have a I'm not sure this one has a transparency layer in it. It's to do with when you initialize the OpenGL renderer. You have to give it some different things. Yes, here we go. It's these. And I cannot for the life of me remember which ones it is, so I'm going to have to Google it. I think that's all we have to do. And then go back to the shader. Okay, no, it doesn't like that. So make that again. Okay, so it's gone back to black, but it's still not showing us the transparency. So let's. Oh, we also have to set the blend function. Huh. Yeah. Okay. I'm also going to be just cribbing off a different project. does transparencies. Okay, well, let's have a look at. So now I'm going to have to look at the WebSys documentation for. No, I don't mean WebSys today. Yeah, WebGL context. Okay, so the thing I need to set the blend function. I can't remember what the function's called to do that. So I'm just trying to find it again. Yeah, it's just blend func, and then okay, so I think it's there we go, and then blend func. Okay, it has some suggestions. I think those are not bad suggestions. Unfortunately, it still has not enabled the transparency on there, which is a shame. I'm gonna have to look up how to do that because I can't remember off the top of my head, and I don't imagine it's gonna be particularly compelling content to just watch someone googling something. So, oh, maybe it's like, let's try one more, just randomly commenting out bits of code. Maybe it was that was overriding it. No, it's not. So, yeah, I will have to refresh my knowledge on transparencies and figure out exactly what's causing that. In the meantime, oh, maybe. No, that was it's still the same. Yeah, I'll go and refresh my knowledge of that, and I'll be ready for next week to add the transparencies in. We'll get the starry sky, and then start to add a better way of creating a cracked roof, because I wanted a kind of chaotic sort of tear down the middle of the building, as opposed to these like straight lines on the top. So yeah. Cool. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the stream, or rewatching if you're rewatching. And if you have any suggestions or comments or anything, please leave them under the video. It'll be posted as soon as YouTube finishes processing it. It sticks it up and makes it available to rewatch. So hope you've enjoyed it. And yeah, take care, and maybe see you next week. Hopefully, if I can figure out this alpha blending. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Bye.